What is up, everybody? How is it going? I'm going to wait for people to filter in, but today we're going to be doing some Spline and Framer among some other things. But I'm just going to hold off for a second, wait for people to start filtering in. Go ahead and say what's up in the chat, and I will attempt to pronounce your name and fail miserably like usual. Alrighty. So today's going to be a fun one. We are going to take a logo of sorts, and we are going to then implement it into Framer, spin it, rotate it, and then I'm sorry, implement or integrate that into Spline, export it into Framer, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here in a second once we get a few more people into the stream. What is up, Ben? What is up, Akash? What is up, Shri? Shri Beast. Akash has an asset in Blender. So the way we're going to do this is it doesn't require a 3D element. We're going to import an SVG graphic. What is up, Hossein? I think. Oh, we're in the studio. You know, some people think this is actually like a green screen behind me. This is not a green screen. I can go out there and start jamming on the guitar. You want to see what that looks like? Huh? No, I cannot butcher your name, Ben. Watching from Kenya. That's awesome. What's up, Neil? Master Chief, Junior Evangelista. Yeah, quite a few people here. Yeah, you can see the scale of this building when I just walk back. Oh, so fun. I get up on the stage and I pretend I'm a rock roller, you know. Woo! I get that bad. What is up? Okay. We got enough people here. Let's get that hide current comment thing off. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reiterate what we're doing here. Shri Beast, though, has a question. Sir, CSS is good to learn front end or Figma or other tools like Spline. Okay, so front end development, to answer your question, is HTML, CSS, JavaScript typically. So you don't necessarily have to learn Figma or Spline for that. That's a completely different thing. You have UI UX design, which is what you use Figma for, because it's a UI UX design prototyping app. And then if you want to realize that prototype that you created, the mock-up in the browser and on devices, then you have to learn your front-end development skills, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That's like working with in Visual Studio Code and stuff like that. Okay, so awesome, thank you very much, Okay, so just to reiterate, what we're doing today is I'm going to take a 3D logo. I'm going to show you on my screen real quick what I'm talking about. So if I go over to here, this right here is a free email collection landing page template. All right. And its purpose, it's called a squeeze page, but other people, they call them like email capture forms or pages. It's a real simple one-page design. And you can see I kind of have this logo right here. Now, I'm making this template free and available for Framer and Webflow like within the next few days. And one of the things that I have to do is to create a real quick tutorial for people who want to use this template for their site or their email capture form and show them how to recreate a 3D logo right here if they want to have their own logo. This is the design course logo. You wouldn't know it though, because I still have the stupid different logo in my YouTube, profile image. I have to change that. But nonetheless, this is what we're going to be focusing on today. And also a few other things that we're going to be doing is if you have a design, UI, UX, or otherwise, and you want me to review it, I'll be doing some reviews today as well. And the instructions for doing that, if you're watching here on YouTube, I know you're watching in other places too, but on YouTube, the directions are in the description. So additionally, outside of that, yeah, if you have any questions for me, I like to BS like crazy. So if you have questions in the comments, go ahead. It could be about business, design, code, whatever. All right. So let's switch back to my my situation here. So I will check the comments momentarily. I don't see them in front of me when I have this screen active and up. So just letting you know that. We're going to take Adobe Illustrator. So the very first thing that you need in order to do this is one of two things. It's either a 3D, oh shoot, that looks bad. There we go. It's either why does that keep happening? Wow, okay, that's very strange. I hate this thing. Let me go to taskbar settings. Maybe this will fix it. Wait, fix. All right, so okay, that's still, that is extremely frustrating. I don't know why it's like removing my background. Anyway, so you need one of two things, like I was saying. You need an SVG graphic or you need a 3D element that's like maybe in Blender already. For us, since most of you have logos that aren't in 3D already, and they're probably, hopefully in SVG format, I'm going to focus on showing you how to take an SVG, import it into Spline. I hate this thing. And make it 3D, give it a really cool material with a really cool material browser, and then rotate it and then import it. So this is my logo. I already have the symbolism here. You're going to want to save this as an SVG file. All right. So if I save this as, oh man, that's so annoying. Look at that. You can see my screen behind me. Isn't that cool? All right. Well, anyway, so you want to save this on your computer. And I saved that in design course. Okay, I just want to make sure where I saved that. So now I want to check the comments here real quick just to make sure everything is going good. Okay, well, unfortunately, when it comes to like blurriness and stuff, oh, and I'm really, yeah, you are right. It's because of this background. When I put that background on, my camera automatically adjusts so that I'm not so blurry. Oh, I know what. Okay. I forgot I turned on manual focus. Hold on. I have to actually focus the camera. Alrighty. Okay, that might be better. Am I better now? Alrighty. Okay, so let's continue on. All right. So once you have your SVG based asset, you then want to go to spline.design. All right. And I'm going to click get started. Now, Spline is basically what it does is it allows you to have 3D in your browser. All right. It uses 3D canvas, and it's an awesome tool. To do this stuff manually kind of sucks. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file. And for here, I could just choose like 3D text and just get rid of that. And we want to go ahead and I'm going to find my desktop here. Where is it? Design course. There we go. And it is trying to find this. Wait a second. I thought that was saved there. Oh, Yeah, let me go check real quickly in my Adobe Illustrator and see where the hell I saved this. I know it's screwed up. I don't know why it's doing that. It's like changing everything. Save on your computer. Just the same HT docs. Oh, that's why. Okay. I saved it in a different hard drive. It's right there. So now if I go to, what is it called? Boy, I have a bad memory lately. Just the symbol. Okay. All right. He's obviously, okay, there we go. Now I'm going to drag it over here on top of the UI. Now you may not see it in whatever you import. So let's see here. Oh no, it's going to give me this issue, I think. That's strange. This was working before. However, I do not see it. Let's see what the size is. X scale. Make sure these are locked. That's strange. I don't see the actual, and I'm zooming out, and so it's not working. Oh, this is a streamer's like worst nightmare, when stupid shit that worked literally like an hour ago, because I already did it. I ran through it once. does not work. So let me figure this out. What is the issue? So I go back to here, and it is SVG. I'm importing it, and I don't see it. All right, well, we're gonna have to go back because that is highly annoying. No, notice it said edited 4 hours ago. This is my logo, and it was working here. Let me try to import this here and see if it works in this document instead. It does. See, there it is. So I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's the preset I used, and see if maybe somebody in the comments knows what was happening. Not obviously not. Okay, not a big deal. So hopefully if you import your specific, there we go, your specific your logo, you won't have that issue. And I'm sure it's probably an easy fix of some sort. And so now at this point, there's a couple things we want to do. The first is I'm going to double click into it. And then this gives us access over here to the extrusion. So when you extrude it, you can see it. It kind of makes it thick. All right. So if you want it to be thick, that's where you do it. Very simple. Next up is the material. And the materials that they have available to you, there's a bunch of them in the library. And that's hugely awesome. So like if you want a cool metal color or a glass window, or this one is the one I was using, there's just so many for you to choose from. And if you click on all libraries or Spline library, you're going to see all these options. So they have them in different basic categories like gradients, noise, cartoons, reflective, bricks. Like let's make our logo a brick. That is cool. So now if I just rotate around, perspective view. Yeah, very, very cool. So brick does not work very well here. So I'm going to go back to, where is it at? Click on all. Yeah, I don't know. What's happened? It's not changing it. Let me just go back. There we go. All right. So let's say, for instance, we want this design, or this is what we're happy with. Now, of course, if we were just to hit play, nothing much really happens. It's not exciting. So if I go back, what we want to do now is rotate it. So in order to rotate it, we want to rotate it from the center. And in order to do that, we have to reset what's called the pivot point. Because if we rotate this, and the way we do this is we create a state. So we have to have 2 states because we want to go from one value to another for the rotation on the y-axis. So we click plus, and then we click base state over here. And then we're just going to, click the regular state, the one that was just added. And then under rotation, we put 360. Now, nothing's going to change visually about it because it's just wrapped around essentially. But these 2 values, if I look over here, this is what they say. So now we have to add an event. And an event means on start, meaning when the project starts, then we want to transition from current or from base state to the state for a duration of 8 seconds. We're going to change. We don't want an easing if we just want it to be a consistent, nice spin. And then we change this to linear. All right. And then loop, we put infinite. So now if I go play, you'll see how it's spinning, but it's not spinning on the middle axis. We don't want that. We want it to stay in the middle because it's spinning from that pivot point. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to go ahead and just delete this state. We're going to redo that. We have to group it first, which is weird, but it's just one of those things. You have to Control G. Oopsie. There we go. Control G. That's interesting. So if I get in here, okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so it's not working correctly. I'm almost wondering, I wonder what else is over here. Okay. I think there might be an artifact in the SVG perhaps that's making it screwed up to where oh, that's right. When you do this, there's another step I forgot. I just learned how to do this to adjust this. So what you do is you hold I think Alt. Trying to think about how I do this. That's not how you do it. Hold on. We go to group. Yeah, you hold down Alt and then you click it and then you move it. And this is supposed to move independent of this, which will allow you to reset the anchor pivot point. Oh, that is so frustrating. I'm going to have to, when I do the actual tutorial for this, for the free template, I will go ahead and make sure I get that part figured out. But right now, if I'm going to have to redo the state, unfortunately. So yeah, it's so frustrating when you're working with, I could just see the little thing like right there. It's not like showing up. All right, I'm going to check the comments here. Yeah, don't read the desktop folders. Anyhow, so yeah, let's redo that. So I'm going to do states. We're going to have a base state, a state, and then a 360 over here. And then we're going to add an event. Again, we've done this already. We're going to go to transition. We're going to throw base state to state for 8 seconds and linear. And then finally specify, I know there's a lot of clicking, infinite. All right, so we're going to hit play. Oh, wait, it's working. Guess what? It is working. All right, so let me zoom out here a little bit. Hit play. Now it is rotating on the center. All right, that's sweet. Okay, good. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to export this. And we'll say this is like a pretty good view or so. And there we go. And what we'll do is we want to export, and we want to go ahead and go to play settings, and we want to adjust some of these default settings. So like, I don't want a logo. I don't want a background color. So we just basically want that transparent, which we do. A page scroll says, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is all look pretty good. And then now we just copy this link or click, yeah, just copy the link. And then we're going to go to Framer. Let's see here. And we'll go to dashboard. I'll just create a new document, new project. All righty. And inside of here, let's just give it a black background or close to black. Okay. And then what we do is we go to insert. I think it's called an embed that we do. Yeah. An embed. And for the URL, let's see. I'm fairly certain I did this correctly. Why is it showing me the old one? Is it literally the same URL? That's kind of strange. Why would that happen? Let me hit play. Okay. Well, something very strange happened because I did this with the FRAMER logo, which is obviously right here. And I literally, boy, this is a difficult, maybe update public URL. All right. So let's just copy this, copy link at least, and create, just do new browser. Okay. So I'm gonna make the assumption that a few of these materials might not translate well. So we'll see, but we can see that this is actually working. This embed code is the right code because we just saw it. So now if I go back to Framer here, I need to make sure that this is working. So, oh, we don't want the embed, I don't think. Or wait, we'll do embed. Wow. How is this a possibility? We just saw the embed, and it must be a weird caching issue. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to Firefox. We are going to check this out in there. So not now. I don't want you to be my default browser. We're going to go to framer.com, log in, continue with Google. You're going to see all my accounts. Oh, no, you're not. Okay. So I'm going to click on this, and we're going to see, is it going to show the old one? See, it was a weird caching issue. All right. No big deal. So what I need to do now, hopefully it doesn't cache the hell out of this one. All right. Well, I'll just have to clear it. But anyways, what we want to do is we're going to have to revert back and not use that particular material. So in that case, I'm going to go back here to Spline. And we're going to adjust this to use another material. So glass rainbow was a no-go. Let's click on the asset browser. Okay. This is the one that I was using. So now I'm going to hit export. We're going to update that. All right. And we have our embed code. Now I can go back to Firefox. We'll probably still have that issue. I'm hoping not. Everything's not working correctly today. And then where do I adjust the value? Right there. Okay. So if I hit play, there we go. Finally, it started working. So now if I refresh this, is it going to show up here? Yes. Okay, awesome. So we can actually increase this. And now we have our indefinite, 3D spinning, rotating logo situation right here. So now if we wanted to center that or actually create a layout here, and then we'll do center. Awesome. So that's how you do your spinning 3D logo. You can actually do other cool stuff. Notice how if I zoom in, it's like really, there's no beveled edges. Spline allows you to do and add beveled edges on your SVG graphic. So if I select this and we select the actual shape itself, and you look at bevel right over here, and I turn that up a bit, or yeah, wait. I have the wrong element selected. We click on the shape right here. Where was I working in Spline? Okay. Yeah, we click the shape and we adjust the bevel like this. So you can make it smooth and it makes it look a little bit more interesting. So if I hit export and update the public URL, we go back here, refresh. Oh, that looks a lot better. Now, I think the way we can adjust the position of this logo is just to adjust the position of the camera in Spline before we export. So it looked like here it's kind of high up. I'm fairly certain that's how it works. So if I go back and we go to Spline, refresh. Okay, a little bit better. Okay. So now if I wanted to give a background or whatever and do whatever, there you go. So that's how you do a spinning 3D rotating logo. I wish that went a little bit more smooth because we ran into some issues. But yeah, just a fun little thing here. And it's just something that can complement your project. So I'm going to go back to our comments here. Yeah, shift. Okay. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, hopefully I'm not too blurry right now. So now what I'm going to do is let's switch things up, and I'm going to take a look at, I think we'll take a look at, so we'll do some reviews. So for those of you who aren't aware, I have a Discord. Actually, I have two Discord servers. One for designcourse.com, like the students. It's an exclusive private Discord server, but also the public one where anybody can join. And this is where you go to submit your designs. So I'm going to go ahead and allow people to start submitting real quickly by adjusting my permissions. Here we go. Save it. And then if any of you want to hop in to Discord to submit your design for me to review here, go ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and do this little announcement thing. Submit below. There we go. All right. So I will do a real quick news announcement thing. So when you join, assign yourself the stream ping role. And that way, every time I go live, you will get notified if you want me to be notified of when I go live. So we're live now. I'm just going to copy this part. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead to grab the actual YouTube URL, which I think this right here that you're looking at is called StreamYard. View on YouTube. I'll just copy the link address. There we go. And go back to here. I should have probably done this before the stream. I usually do, but yeah. This is it right there. Okay. Sweet. Awesome. So I'll just wait for some of your designs for me to check out. Another place here, there was one design I needed to check out that somebody submitted in the exclusive private Discord server. So I'm going to check it out. This is from JIGU and Jigu. Hey, Gary, the below project is my first client project. That's a big deal. Please review and give suggestions on it. The project is based on stainless steel manufacturing factory. Okay, it doesn't get more hardcore than that in industrial. How do you make stainless steel? All right, let's find out. Let's click it. It's a Figma prototype. All right, and in Figma, all righty. So, okay, I like some of the stuff that I see here, given that this is your first client project. Because trust me, I've seen much worse. So you're on the right path. There are some things, however, that I do want to fix. So if I open up a new design tab here, we just paste this in and we'll get a copy. So we have a before and after. Just checking my stream stuff. By the way, if any of you have questions, I will answer them. I will put your question on the screen. And yeah, we're just hanging out, having fun here. Okay, so the first thing that I notice about this is I really don't like slightly extended letter spacing. I see you put 6%. We're going to put that at like 0. It just makes it easier. The only time I ever use extended letter spacing, like here or whatever, is on like tags, product tags. And it's usually also with all of the letters uppercase. It doesn't look good when you have letter spacing on just regular type, and especially on sentences or like a bunch of words. So I would modify all of these from 6%. This one is fine. And you do have what's called a visual hierarchy issue with your type. This headline is good and big. I like that. Then you have your subhead, which is a lot smaller, which is good. But then these two elements here, these two type elements, they're too close together. So with that said, we need to modify some things. So you could probably get away with keeping them as is, but we need to extend this down a little bit further to create more separation. Now, having said that, we still need to create, all three of these elements should be more significantly different than each other. These first two are, but this second to the third is not. It's only slightly larger. So you could experiment by maybe making this bold. Now it's a little bit better. We'll increase this, the line height here a bit. And maybe we will reduce that just a bit. Increase this. All right. So that's already a good improvement. If you take a look at this, like here's the before, and then here's the after. Again, now this type of hero section, I will say, is like a more outdated approach to landing pages. You kind of saw this thing a lot in like the 2012 to like 2017 era, where it's just, a background with centered text and like a call to action. But one thing you don't have here is a call to action, except for this little contact us button. So I probably would want to see some type of button here that leads them to your primary objective. I've been looking at this, like I said, get rid of that 6% letter spacing. All right, even this letter spacing, I might even like reduce it slightly based on the font you have selected to -1%. Outside of that, looking at this, yeah, so again, it looks like you're doing that letter spacing here. This is too much type and it's not enough line height. So there's not enough white space between the actual lines of text. So you want to make sure you increase that substantially. So what I would do is just increase this, and you should probably only have no more than this amount of type. All right. And I would also probably add a little bit more white space all around with padding. And that would be a better approach. Having said that, I think that's probably good enough for you to start thinking about some things. I would increase this white space. Okay. This part's not too bad in this section of the layout. All right. So hopefully that was valuable enough. I can't believe it's snowing like hell outside. All right. All right, so live, let's see. This sup, baby girl. What is happening here? All right, somebody asked a question here. As a UI UX designer and front end developer, how can I get work? And okay, so let me restart. As a UI UX and front end developer, how can I get work? And as a front end developer, should I learn back end language or marketing? Which one I better to increase my value? Okay, which one is better to increase my value? So essentially, you have several questions here. So first, I'll tackle the first question. As a UI UX and front end developer, how can I get work? All right. So how do you get work as a UI UX? Well, that's a loaded question because there's many ways to get work. You could set up like a local, just a local design agency and just rely on local clientele with a local Google business listing. You could rely on search engine optimization to target keywords that perhaps would draw clients onto your site. You could do the social media route. You can try to build a following, an audience, and which is one of the biggest things I advocate for. Even if you're a freelance UI UX designer or coder, you can try to build your own audience of like-minded individuals, and opportunity comes from that as well. You can make money as a UI UX designer and a front-end developer by giving away freebies and generating an email list and selling ad space on the email list. You can make money by selling templates. I could go on and on and on about how you can make money. So there's a lot of different things you can tackle. The other question, and as a front-end developer, should I learn back-end? No, because it's not your scope. All right. So it would not benefit you to learn back-end unless you're trying to do something like your own indie hacking project and you're just trying to learn. Or marketing. Which one is better to increase my value? Marketing. So if you're a front-end developer, UI UX designer, I would not learn back-end as well. You already have your plate full. You can have an insanely successful career as just a UI UX designer or just a front-end developer. You don't have to add back-end to that as well. So marketing, however, marketing is what you need. If you're going to be like a freelance UI UX person or a front-end developer, you have to understand internet marketing. In my next video, I think it's going to be one of my next videos, I am going to be talking about exactly that and learning how to build an email list by giving away freebies in order to monetize future potential products. So I'll be doing a video on that, and that's one way that you can get started. But learning internet marketing, which is a big umbrella term for social media marketing, search engine optimization, paid advertising. And if you go the route of paid ads, you usually lose money at the beginning of a campaign, but once you optimize it, you can create, an actual ROI. So there's so many different ways. For instance, like if you're a front-end developer, and let's say you decide to sell templates for Webflow or something, premium templates for Webflow, you can make a living just by doing that alone if you really focused on it. And if you understand some internet marketing. So these are some of the things that I'm going to be covering a lot on this channel. Wow, we have 543 people watching. That's like way higher than normal. But nobody's talking in the chat room. What is going on? I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's snowing. Today is one of the warmest days in a good while in the Netherlands. Oh, it's Jip. What's up? Oh, I didn't realize it was Jip. Jip is a subcontractor that works on designcourse.com. So yeah, I have more viewers on Twitter than on YouTube. That's insane. I'm almost wondering, I guess this system does not show people who comment like on Twitter, because maybe I'm getting comments. I don't know. Anyways. By the way, will this live get uploaded on your channel? Yes, it will. We are bots. You might be right. Awesome. Okay, let's continue on. Maybe we got some submissions. So I'm going to go back here to this section. Okay. Yep. Look at all these. Well, there's only about 6 or 7. Capt Ked. He's the first one every time to submit. It looks like a new design. I haven't seen this one before. And you know what? It's very simple. I have no problems with it. I feel like I've seen this type of layout, before, but from what I see, I don't think there's any issues. This display button's old school, but old school is coming back a little bit with the gradients and such. Yeah, I have no problem with that one. Let's check out another one. Let's go to, I'm losing my spot here. J4FL, my personal portfolio. Also, my first client's project, if you have enough time. Okay. That was there was just another first client project. Okay. Okay, so creating seamless digital experiences, connecting creativity with design. All right, so that's a pretty impressive headline. It's a little bit wordy. I might want to revise it slightly to make it less wordy because there's a lot of big words like connected, but it's okay. It's a lot better than what I see most of the time. Hi, I'm Gary Simon. I'm UI UX designer. Hire me. It's like, come on. This is good though. Outside of that, yeah, this is actually pretty solid. I have no problem with it. I probably reduce the white space up here. To, you're reducing your available space down here. So that's an unnecessary amount of white space up here. I would definitely get rid of this line right here. It's just kind of throwing off the flow of the layout. It's already kind of strange with, this being like that. And then you have it right aligned over here. And then you have this left aligned. It's a little bit too busy. So I would get rid of this. This could be maybe just centered underneath and made way smaller. Outside of that, this is kind of interesting. It almost makes me feel like I can click on them because they're like cards, but I can't. All right. I don't know how I feel about that. All right. So that's cool right here. You know what you should do? You're using Webflow, so you can make a smooth scroll. I would do smooth scrolling with this because whenever you have parallax and you just don't have smooth scroll, it just stops abruptly. But what's really cool is the locomotion effect of smooth scroll. It just makes your animations that are scroll paced, that are tied to scroll rather than time and duration, that much more smooth and cooler looking. But yeah, this section here is pretty good. I don't know why you're putting it on the very right and left. That's kind of interesting. Maybe like overlap them because you can create a nice layer effect instead of just putting off to the right. Like 50% of it, like this circle could be like right here. All right. And this looks pretty decent, looking good. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully that was helpful. Let's go check out the chat. Here's a question. Is there any AI app or API that give you brackets layout and you spits you HTML back? So I'm not sure what you're talking about by brackets. I've heard that name before, but I never used it. And I'm not sure if it's like some type of HTML syntax type of stuff. I can't answer that question. So maybe somebody else in the chat can. Thank you, Gary. I think my issue is marketing. I enrolled your course from the beginning. I'm designing now for 4 years. I'm working with agency, but when I come alone and I can't get any work. So I think by what you mean is you're trying to go it alone and be a freelancer, you're having a hard time getting work. I understand that. That's why I want you to watch tomorrow's video. It might be tomorrow, it might be Friday, it might be Monday, but the video I'm going to upload is going to show you a growth marketing hack for people in your shoes. So definitely just stay tuned for that. What CSS framework did you use in your design course website? I believe Jip, who did pretty much all the HTML and CSS, used Tailwind, I want to say. Did he use Tailwind? I don't know. Well, we'll be able to find out. You find out. I think they show Tailwind in Wapalizer. So there's a plugin right here. I always show this tool off. It's the Wapalizer. And it will show you things that are used, like the tech stack. All right. So I'm not sure if it would actually show Tailwind. I can't remember if it shows Tailwind because I don't see it. But you can see where we are utilizing GreenSock Animation Platform, Vue, and Nuxt. So I use live chat as well. And 3JS, we use that minimally right over here. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I can't answer that question, but The landing pages use CSS and Vue, and then, or Sass and Vue, and the platform itself uses Tailwind. Okay. Oh shoot, you can't see the screen. I'm an idiot. I always forget to like toggle back and forth like that. Okay. Next up, let's go check it. Let's do some more reviews. Oh, by the way, I have not spammed you yet. How can I not spam you? I'm a bad marketer, you know? For those of you who may not know, UI UX design course, CSS course, and advanced front ends at designcourse.com. These are my 3 flagship courses. And I'm going to be actually redoing this course from scratch here soon after my FRAMER course is released, hopefully within a month and a half max. But it's basically an interactive course. This is our custom course platform that my partner JVS and Jip helped build. And if I click on learn more, you're going to learn all about this. We have AI and UI UX design covered. We also have interactive design challenges, which is very cool, and an optional subscription service called Design Mentor, where there's 12 challenges in this course. And if you design them, I actually review them and give you feedback. And it's a monthly subscription for that service. So you can add that at any time or remove it. So definitely check that out. In the other courses as well, I'll let you check them out. The CSS course basically is all about learning HTML, CSS to take Figma designs that I created and make them a reality in the browser, a responsive reality. So that is a nice course. And then, of course, we have advanced front ends as well, which I recently launched at the beginning of this year, where for those of you who understand HTML, CSS, and at least some basic JavaScript can learn how to do some really cool advanced front end type of stuff with GreenSock animation platform and 3JS. All right, that's enough spamming. Was I literally not? I quit. I think I quit. I just did all that and did not show you. So I won't do that spiel again, but just to let you know, this is what I was showing. My site, designcourse.com. Here's the UI UX course. All my courses, the UI UX up here, CSS and advanced front ends. You can find and learn all about that right there. I really need a better reference monitor to know exactly, because I have a 65-inch TV that's mounted up there on that wall, but it only shows my camera feed. It doesn't show me what you see as well. All right. There's no way. No, that screen is sharing right now. I get so frustrated when stupid stuff like that happens. I'm a rusty streamer because I haven't been in the streaming thing here for long enough because I quit for so long. Okay, let's continue on. Let's go to here. All right. So Neil, maybe you could cast your eye on this work in progress. All right, let's check it out. Pianos for sale in Brighton. Okay. I need an electric keyboard, like a fully weighted 88 key keyboard. Maybe you can hook me up. These look like legit acoustic pianos though. All right. So looking at this, the logo. So the logo, I know this is a UI UX design, but I used to be once upon a time an actual identity designer. I design tons of logos. The logo, if you have control over this, needs work. You probably don't, but it's just the type is too close. I would like to see Brighton Piano made smaller and left aligned and maybe moved up. Anyway, that's just a small gripe. Outside of that, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's too many. That's too many links up here. I would simplify this to 5 and add white space between them. Additionally, this is not too bad, but I probably would want to see this maybe made a more regular font. It looks like it's like a mid-weight font, and maybe just like 1 or 2 pixels smaller. Outside of that, I would make why use us and this orange thing, I would make that all black. That way you create a nice distinction between your primary call to action and the part where it says why use us. Next up, looking at this, again, slightly smaller text. Now, this type of section right here, I would not do this. You have a border that's like 5 pixels thick, And then you have a washed out kind of watermark based photograph that goes entirely across. That's kind of like more of the older school style approach to design. I would simplify that probably by getting rid of this border and the background behind it. All right, and the cards here need work. Like you want to avoid as much as possible this inconsistent vertical alignment of view. And you also want to avoid the inconsistent amount of white space that's present on the inside of your card. So for instance, you have this amount of white space here, but then you have this here. You want to make those equal as much as possible. And because these, this is not a much white space, I would move the left side to match the distance from the bottom of the button to the bottom of the card, on the left. And I think that would help a lot. All right. Next up, let's go back to this section. Let me, do I have a comment right now that's showing up? Yeah, I do. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Let's continue on. We're going to go to, who is next? Maybe you can catch. Okay. So Henry, my latest personal project built with Mern, React 3 Fiber. All right. We got some 3JS coming in here. Okay, so I forget what we called this. We decided to call this type of design with the thick, high contrast borders and shadows. I forget what we called that trend, but I could see you're kind of going for that sort of feel with the, the very big, bold. Yeah, strokes, that is. Now, one thing I don't like is there's not enough white space from here on the inside of this element. So if I, I might be able to fix it real quick if I get out the Chrome tools. So if I take this, yeah, I can see the padding there. So the padding value currently is 1 rem and 1.2 rem. If I put like 5 rem, it's going to look so much better. Look at that. That right there is an immediate improvement on the white space and of this design in general. So if I refresh, you'll see the original, but take a snapshot of this in your mind and just look at that. It's just not ideal when it's just tucked way so up there in the corner. So you really want to utilize your ability to consume the space a little bit more. Outside of that, it is kind of interesting because you have a lot of the thick fonts over here. I mean, the thick borders and strokes, but then you don't have any down here. You're kind of diverting to a flat design, more of a flat design approach. So it looks like some things might be a little bit inconsistent about this design. So if you're going to wrap everything in strokes up here in this thing in a stroke, then these should possibly be based on that as well, just to keep for consistency. I would also get rid of this blue outline or the stroke. Blue, this type of blue and black, it just kind of makes it too busy and cluttered. So I would get rid of the blue strokes, keep everything black for the icons. Awesome. Let us continue on. Yes, new brutalism. Was that it? I think that was it. Okay. Why is the live so blurry? What is it that's blurry? Is it me? Like the camera feed pointing at me, or is it my screen? Because I hope it's not the screen, like my screencast part. All right. Anyway, I'll check back. Everything. That is weird. Why would it be blurry? Because this is on 1080p, my desktop resolution, and it's also streaming in at 1080p. There's nothing else I can do about it. I put, no, the screen is. So some people are telling me it's the share screen or the camera feed, and some are just telling me it's, I don't know. Here's the my hands are tied. I literally can't fix it. There's nothing. I don't have like a blur filter on. You know what might be the issue? What might be the issue are my my lights. My lighting, if you cast like reds, hues on things, it screws up video compression. So let me show you something real quick. If I take this and edit this color region, this is how I control my lighting. And I just turn this off or just reduce it a lot. How's that? Does that make me less blurry, or is that just BS? Anyway, I'm not going to screw around with that too much. Let's continue on with more reviews, and how long we've been streaming. Oh, 50 minutes already. Wow. We got 743 people watching me. What am I doing? I'm getting famous. Okay, next up this is from Sheshbaum, if that's how you pronounce it. Let's see here. So, hello, Gary. Thanks for doing these live streams. You are welcome. I started out as a developer, currently learning more design. This is my latest project that I designed and developed in React, Tailwind, and FRAMER Motion. All right. Okay, so this is a developer trying to design. So we have to remember that. Nice little logo situation there. And again, so this design, it's immediately telling me, checking comments here, making sure I'm sharing my screen. It's immediately telling me that I'm just getting vibes of old school approach design. And trust me, I'm one of the authorities you can trust on this because I'm 40 and I started doing this stuff when I was like 12 or 13. Like my first website, I think was probably like 96 or 7. And I've seen trends come and go, and this trend is definitely a more outdated approach. So if you want to try to level up to modern UI UX design trends, I would really start kind of following other people in the industry, like on X, for instance, or Threads or wherever, and also checking up on design inspiration sites like Dribbble and all that stuff. But what I will do is just talk about this design as is. I'm not going to worry about the fact that it's kind of like outdated feeling. But I will just address any issues that I see here. So one thing that you want to avoid as much as possible is this. You see this this paragraph here, and I think it's just one long sentence. So yeah, I think it's just one long sentence. You might want to revise that. But it's a good amount of type, and look how long, look how far it is kind of extending across the screen. You want to reduce that width by about 30% of what it currently is, or 60%. And you want to fill out this area more. Notice how much white space here, because I'm on a browser that's large and maximized. And that's why typically I advocate having like a centered fixed width for your very left and your very right. So you have more white space on the very left and right, so that you can avoid big areas and gaps like this. Coming down here, this actually isn't too bad. These cards are pretty good here. So I would move About Us up like right here to center it between these two elements, the bottom of the cards and the top of this container. All right, so now probably the biggest issue with this in usability wise is this form, because you're breaking some rules. So if I click on this and I start typing, the label goes away because you're using a placeholder attribute in HTML as the label. And that's a no-no when it comes to forms. People forget, like like, I don't know, somebody's kid has spilled something, they come back and they're like, what am I typing here? It's like annoying, right? So they have to go back, delete it. Oh, that's the name field. So you want to avoid that. There's two routes you can take for this. One is when you select and focus in on here, you can have a floating label. And I'm sure some of you have seen this, or most of you. You just click this, and once you start typing, name gets floated and animated up above so that the label is always visible. All right, very important. Or you can just do no placeholder value and just have an explicit label in HTML. All right. The other thing that you're doing that's wrong is the actual text field design itself. You have a black, like 3-pixel border underline for the text area on a very dark, almost black background. So that kills contrast, and it makes it hard to see where you're supposed to click. And if you're building an app like with old people, like who don't understand and not familiar with technology like this, they may not even know that these are text fields. So it's one of those things that, you know, when it comes to text field design, you should always either have a solid background color that is different from the background that it's sitting on, and or a border that goes all the way around, all four quarters, that contrasts enough to be visible. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. Start preaching my UX stuff. Let's check this. Yeah, you can submit your work for me to review in design in my Discord server. So if you watch this on YouTube, then you can see the instructions here in the description. Let's continue on. Let's do another one. I just want to make sure nobody asked a question. Again, you can ask any question. I'll feature it and I will answer it. Here's a question. How can I be more creative in my designs? It's actually a good question, and I might do a video on this topic. Because we see cookie cutters, and the type of designs I am personally interested in are landing pages, because that's what we mostly do, or not mostly for the most part, but like the front ends of website. I'm not really interested in dashboards and stuff, even though I can do that. But when it comes to landing pages, there's a big lack of creativity. The people who demand $20, $30, $40, $50,000 for a single landing page project, these are the top design studios who know how to think outside of the box in order to create a truly custom tailored landing page that really speaks to the objectives of the business, but it's also A, beautiful, B, user-friendly, and then C, very unique in an interesting, unique way, or basically. So that's kind of a word salad there. And to do that, I'm going to make a video about it. It's hard for me to talk about in the context of just a live stream, but being truly unique and creative, it's difficult because you have patterns and rules that you're supposed to adhere to in UI UX design. And that's why I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit, because there's some people who say they never step into Figma, to design first. They'll do it in code. Now, to me, that sounds insane, but if you truly want to build one of those really unique, interesting websites, like really give the client like the best possible product, you have to step into an app like Figma. Otherwise, if you're trying to conceptualize these really unique type of websites on the fly, it's in code. That's just insane. You should not do that. Otherwise, the product's really typically not going to turn out as best as it could be. Okay. Is Framer a good choice? What is up, Renee? Reen? Oh, I'm terrible. Is Framer a good choice for a newbie designer to start with? Yeah, I think there's no problem with that. If you don't really have much interest in learning HTML and CSS, and you want to go the no-code route, then that's completely fine. I have no problem with that. And also to piggyback onto the statement I just made about designing in Figma first before you get into code. If we're talking about no-code tools like Framer or Webflow or Wix Studio, you can get away with it there. You can actually design in those apps and have it be a situation where you click play and it's already in the browser ready to rock for people to use. It's not going to be as fast as Figma, when you can just really easily move things around without worrying about things being stuck in stacks and stuff. But I have less of a problem of people just foregoing Figma and just doing their design straight in a no-code to low-code tool like Framer or Webflow, compared to doing it and just typing out code. So next up is, what are your thoughts about case studies? Is it really important? May I also know your design process? So case studies, I think, especially if you're a relative newcomer to UI UX design, or front-end development, or like you have a code portfolio or whatever, having case studies is very important because you don't have many projects. So if you only have one or two projects, and the only thing you're showing is just a thumbnail that links out to the website or like a mock-up screen or whatever, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence from potential clients or employers. So the projects that you are able to get, and I could talk about how you get projects as somebody who doesn't have a portfolio, if you want me to, let me know in chat. As long as you, let me reread that. Yeah. So as long as you, only have a couple projects, it's very beneficial for you to add as much content about those projects as possible. And that's what you do for a case study. So I think they're an important tool that will really help. It can only help you land projects. It's not going to hurt. So do the work for sure to really, not only complete the project, but also do a little case study. It doesn't have to take long. You can get it done in like a single sitting. Next up, Webflow versus Framer. So right now, because I'm building the From Figma to Framer course, which will be out at the end of this month, or no, next month, hopefully. I'm going to say I can't answer that because I haven't got fully into Webflow yet. Webflow is going to be the next one I tackle. So I'll be able to answer that then. Somebody else asking, as a freelancer, where did you find your clients in web design development? Is it in Upwork or LinkedIn? It's in neither. When I was a freelancer, starting a long freaking time ago, I made my money at different periods of my life in different ways on the internet. In terms of where I was getting my clients from, by far the most clients I ever got was from Google, because I ranked very well for keywords like how to design a website, how to design a logo. And they linked the tutorials on my website. And on those tutorials, I would advertise my own personal design services, because a lot of people realized, hey, designing a logo is very tough for a newcomer. I'm just going to hire this guy instead. Designing a website for the first time for a newcomer is very tough. I'm just going to go hire this guy instead. So that's how I made a lot of my clients or my money. And that's how I got a lot of my clients, because I ranked in Google and I knew search engine optimization. And when you know SEO, you kind of know it forever, because it hasn't changed that much. The core concepts are still there. So that's how I did. That's how I made my money. And I am going to be starting my own design agency sometime this year, just as a matter of a case study and something I could share with all of you who would probably like to do the same thing. What do you think of AI in the future career of UI UX? I don't know. So I don't know what the future holds with 5 to 10 years or 3 years or a year from now. But I do know currently you can't rely on ChatGPT. Well, I'm talking about code right now, but I'll talk about UI UX in a second. But I know you can't rely on ChatGPT to give you solid code. You can't. I think Claude is better. I haven't used it yet personally, but right now there's not a single solution that you can currently use right now today that's really just going to just make a website for you beautifully with a prompt. As far as UI UX, again, same thing. You can use Midjourney and ask it to give you a mock-up just for some color ideas and maybe just some layout ideas, but it's all just wishy-washy. It's nothing you can truly implement yet. So until there is I guess I'm going to say I do use AI as a UI UX designer to help me generate assets, but I don't, if your question is at all inferring whether or not I think UI UX is going to be dead because of AI, I can't say that for certain. I doubt it will. It's just going to change because I've been through a lot of different changes in this industry because it's relatively new. The internet and all this stuff like UI UX, it's been around for like 25, 30 years, which is nothing in terms of like the length of an industry. So things change fast. But at the same time, a lot of people just get worried unnecessarily at the advent of new technology. But I will say this, you should start preparing now. And I talked about this in one of my other streams. I'm not sure if it was last one, but a great pivot just to make sure that you have skills in case design and code just die, which they're not, is internet marketing. So learn internet marketing. That will help really complement your current skills with UI UX design or front-end development or whatever it is that you do. Learning internet marketing, it's like a necessity if you're going to be a freelancer. And I think everybody should do it anyways. Even if you're an employee or something, you have no whatever, learn internet marketing still, because you can create awesome side hustles. Outside of that, what would you say about designers who use Bootstrap in 2024? I don't care. I haven't used Bootstrap in like a decade or more. I have no problem with it. If you want to use it and it gets the job done, it's not a big deal. All right, let me go back to, and I will answer some of these other questions. Let's just go take a look at another design. Where am I at? I swear, sometimes I'm so slow. Oh, yeah. Hopefully you see my work now or my screen. I think, hello, Gary. Oh, wait, I already did that one. Yeah. All right. Here is a Figma prototype from Steve. Let me just check my stream, make sure you see my screen. You do indeed. Okay. Crypto Millions. Unlock your chance to win big with Crypto Millions. Okay. I like it. I like that headline. This is good. Get started. Connect wallet. I don't know what that is, though. That's interesting. Maybe it's some type of like NFT or something. I don't know much about NFT. I never got into it, thank God. Yeah, this is pretty good. You know what? I would say if I zoom up, you see these little borders that you have on the cards. I think making them a lot lighter or white or just lighter would be a little bit more better. Because over here you lose it in this color. It gets bad color. What do you call color contrast? So if I have 12. Oh, wait, this is a Figma prototype. What am I talking about? Here's what I do. If you ever get a Figma prototype like this, if you just change proto in the URL to file, guess what? You get to access it. You get to access the whole thing. It's not an error or issue or like a security thing. It's just one of those things that you have to know about. So now I can paste it in and I can make that adjustment and show you instead of just talking about it. You gotta be about it. You can't just talk about stuff all the time. Come on, put up or shut up, right? Maybe I should just shut up. All right, so maybe I would make that like 1. So of course, this is really maximum high contrast if we made that white. Maybe we don't make it white. Maybe we grab like this color here and we make it lighter, like around here. That way you can at least see it all the way around and it does not get lost with bad color contrast. Like this one. That makes sense? Sweet. But yeah, this is solid. This is solid. I like it. I like the gradients over here. Nice, just a nice way to add texture in your background. Next up, let's go and check everybody here. All right, can you tell? All right, can you tell when to choose Framer versus Webflow, and what do you think of WordPress? I answered this question in a slightly different context, but I'm not an expert with Webflow yet because I'm covering Framer right now. And my next course is Framer. So after that will be Webflow, and I'll be able to answer that question then. Dumb question. Are there solely UI jobs out there? Like most job postings I see are usually listing as UI, UX, or UX designers, but never just UI designer. Okay, so I'll talk about this for a second. A lot of people think that there's a very clear distinction in every company between UI and UX. And my personal feelings on this as somebody who has designed websites before we had the term UX and like UI, UX designer, is that if you can design really good looking UIs, there's probably a really good chance you're already good at UX, because a lot of UX is a process that's learned when you're learning how to build UIs. And just the fact of you being somebody who's probably used the internet for a long time and using other websites, you learn patterns just by being a user. You also obviously learn patterns in a more discrete manner when you're a UI UX designer. So I would say yes, as long as if they put the term UI UX designer in the job posting description, and you think you're only a good UI designer but you're not a great UXer, don't let that discourage you from applying for the job, because chances are they're mainly going to have you deal with UI stuff. And all the UX stuff, like generating user personas and journey flows and empathy maps and whatever you want to call, like a lot of that stuff, most companies don't even do anyways. You don't have to do a lot of that stuff on a lot of projects. So just to boil this down again, I think UX, I know the industry a couple years ago tried to flip the terms, like UX, UI designer. They wanted to put UX first because that's the most important. And I just like fire back. I say UI UX because I think most of the skill lies in the UI design part. UX is not necessary. It is design, but it's many other things. It's understanding how to test. It's understanding how to optimize and stuff like that. But seriously, if you can design a great and beautiful looking UI, learning that stuff is not that much more difficult. The most difficult part is doing the work. All right. Let's see here. I'm just kind of looking at some of these comments here. What about learning design while streaming every day as a way to get accountability, and tips on how I can get at least one viewers? Well, at least one viewers. Well, you can hit up your mom. Just send her the link. Say, Mom, listen, I need you to help kickstart my stream. Just watch it and just choose like a fake name and like, use like a young person's, like a young girl's photo or something, like, and just make it look like you love what I'm doing. No, I kid. Obviously, if you want to try to get better at designing while streaming, that sounds like a good way to build up a little bit of an audience. If you're going to be sitting there practicing, why not share what you're doing too? So I actually like that idea. Do you have to do it every day? That's up to you, because that will get tiresome after a while, because sitting here talking for just an hour, your throat starts to get sore, and it's like, so if you want to do that, that'd be great, but you should approach it like a serious endeavor. That means creating like social profiles for it, coming up with a logo, trying to get some decent quality. You don't want to have a crappy mic or blurry footage like people tell me I have right now, which I know is probably like a stream issue. But yeah, that's that. I think if you do it consistently enough and you stream on and use something like StreamYard.com, that's what I'm using right now. StreamYard.com, although it is like $50 a month, so you'd have to factor that in. It allows you to syndicate across multiple social media video platforms. So like I'm on X.com streaming right now. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitch, which I never even bother with Twitch. I have an account and I just go there, whatever. I should probably, because Twitch is very popular, but and it's also, you can do LinkedIn and Facebook. So it streams on all those platforms. And if you tag your videos right and you do this consistently enough, people will come to you eventually. And it also depends. A lot of it has to do with your personality. It's not just about being consistent hard work. It's about your delivery and stuff. So these are all things that you can slowly improve over time. What are your thoughts on Dora AI? Yeah, Dora was very cool. I only used it a couple times in learning how to use it as like, almost like a beginner level setting when I did that tutorial on it like a few weeks ago or last month. And I think I need to step back into it to really give my concrete opinions. But from what I recall, it was a very cool tool. Hi, Gary. After being a freelancer, did you get hired in a company as a UI designer? Can you tell your stories? Well, I did tell a story earlier about how I started making money, so you can rewind. But I've never actually been hired in a real company, like even in a remote position. I've always made my money freelancing or in doing or this. The last 10 years, I've made most of my money by making courses and YouTube business. But before that, yeah, I never had a real job or working for anybody. How to user research and understand a particular website should be built. Kind of a hard question, but basically, that's a very loaded question, unfortunately. Obviously, you need to get as much information up front from a employer or a client as much as possible. That's going to be your foundation, which will determine how a particular website should be built. So a lot of this stuff is also kind of no-brainer stuff. You don't really have to sit there and do a ton of research and understanding like how to create a site structure. You have to look at the objectives of the business and proceed in a logical manner from there. And a lot of it is no-brainer type stuff. Like if I tell you, like for instance, my wife's a lactation consultant. That means she helps moms learn how to breastfeed their babies, because it's a lost art. That's a different subject. Anyway, and if she told me I need a website where people can schedule online lactation consultant appointments. All right, well, how do I build this? Well, I know she basically needs a front end. She needs a front end that will advertise her services in a way that will maximize visitors, just casual visitors into clients. And I'm going to need a way for them to pay. So you just start off logically. Do not overthink this stuff. It's not rocket science. And then if you think you're doing something wrong, or if your website might be performing badly, then just integrate one of the many tools out there for split testing optimization, and you test. You change your headline. You change a color here or a color there, or this gets positioned there. You can do A/B split testing, which is changing one thing at a time, or multivariate testing. There's a lot of stuff out there that will help you answer that very generalized, broad question. As a full stack developer, I find Webflow complicated. That's interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. I prefer coding my backend with Django and my front end with React instead of using Webflow. Too many things on screen, WordPress for simple pages. So that's not a question, that's a statement. But I do have to say, I hopped into Webflow recently, or just today actually. And it seems like Webflow's UI is definitely more on the complex and cluttered side if you compare it to Framer. And so I understand what you're thinking, where you're coming from. Obviously, if you're a full stack developer who hand codes stuff, it would take you way longer to learn all those things than it would be to learn Webflow. So learning Webflow and learning Framer, even if you're already a full stack developer, you understand HTML and CSS, that's going to make it a lot easier for you to understand Webflow and how to do things the Webflow or the Framer way. So yeah, it's possible, but there, even though it says no code on these tools, there is a learning curve, even if you already understand HTML and CSS. It's just not that much of a longer learning curve. Now, if you're brand new and you never touched HTML and CSS and you're going to learn Webflow or Framer, you're going to have a harder time, because the whole paradigm of how you get layouts structured with stacks and all this stuff, which is really just saying Flexbox or CSS grid, it's difficult for sure. I'm a busy student and I want to be freelance. So is that a good idea? Why not? If you have 1 hour a day, skip playing the games, skip watching Netflix, work on your side hustle. It is, especially if you're younger and you have the energy, do it. Do you ever play those drums behind you? I do. I do actually play those drums behind me. In fact, if you go to X and you go to my profile, you will see me playing the drums. Where's it at? Right here, this video. So you get to see me play guitar, keyboard, bass, and drums in a live looping session. So go ahead and check that out on my, and follow me too, by the way. I don't have enough follows on X. There, I went ahead and pasted that. Okay. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I agree for sure. Am I afraid of Devin? Devin, no, I'm not. Freelance website designer. But what if I am face problem and cannot solve? Wait, did you already ask a question? All right, so freelance website designer. If I face a problem that I cannot solve, who to call if I'm employed in a studio? Who to call if I'm employed in a studio? I don't know. Try calling 911. They might be able to help. No, seriously, there's so many resources that can help you online if you have UI UX issues as a website designer. Join all the UI UX design or and coder or indie hacking Discord servers. I mean, you can get immediate feedback if you have questions and you're a busy enough server with enough activity. You can get immediate feedback in that context. Sometimes you can use ChatGPT and it will give you a pretty good answer. You don't have to use OpenAI. You can use Claude. You can use whatever the other ones. I wouldn't use Google's Gemini because that one sucks. But anyway, okay. Yeah, Webflow does need a bit of a learning curve for sure. All right, let's try to beat. I have 978 people watching me in total, which is pretty crazy. Wow, X is going crazy. It's only 76 on Google or YouTube. That is sad. All right. Well, anyway, this channel has not been doing great lately, so that's why I'm ramping up content production big time. Can you identify mistakes that beginner freelancers make in their proposals or emails when they email a client, and how can we improve those mistakes? Yeah. So here's the thing: I never personally made a proposal for an actual company, because the way I've always generated clients is the clients came to me. Even when I was not, a really highly skilled designer or whatever, they still came to me because that's how I set my stuff up. That's how the guy, I think his name's Brett from Design Joy, the design subscription agency, that's how he sets his up as well. He doesn't really have much communication beforehand, before they actually place an order. Or at least if they hit me up, they already knew the quality of my work, and they already knew they wanted to hire me. So I don't really have, I would say, I don't really have advice in that regard from personal experience. However, just thinking from a logical perspective, if you want to maximize your chances of landing a gig for a particular client or project, I'm going to assume you already have their project details. Since this is a proposal, I would do my work, my research before writing that email as much as possible. Take a look at their competitors, tell them how you can make them better. Obviously, they probably, if you're sending them a proposal, I'm hoping obviously you're going to be sending your portfolio as well, but really make something custom specific. So I guess it depends on the situation and how much information has already been shared. How can I attract clients as a freelancer outside of Upwork? So I already answered this question like in depth earlier in the stream. So definitely just rewind and watch it. This video will be made available publicly on YouTube after the stream. I did work pretty hard. Yes, I did. I will tell you, it was stressful, but nonetheless. All right. So at this point, I think we'll go ahead and I will mention the fact that if any of you watching this really want to learn UI UX in a setting, oh yeah, am I sharing my screen? There I am. In a setting that's interactive, definitely take my UI UX course. And also, if you want to learn how to take designs made in Figma and learn how to make them a working reality in the browser with HTML and CSS, you could take the CSS course. Recently, we just enabled the all access pass, where you can get access to all my 3 courses for a big discount. It says $198 here, but you can actually get that for a bigger discount if you use the stream code in my YouTube description. So you can get all these courses for way cheaper. All right, so that is going to be it. I'm going to be concluding here today, and we've already gone almost an hour, 22 minutes, or we have rather. And we're going to do this again next week. Again, look out for my next YouTube video. I think it might be tomorrow or the next day, where I give away to a Framer and a Webflow template, the email capture form. If I go back, this is what it looks like. So if I refresh, and then when I talked about how to find clients as a UI UX designer and front-end developer, this is one of the ways, by using a landing page like this, and in order to collect emails, and then you'll have an email list that you can create a newsletter out of and sell actual ad space on it. That's one way to monetize it. There's a lot of other ways to monetize that same email list as well. Of course, you can sell templates, or you can give away freebie templates, and just to further your reach and your growth as a UI UX designer, freelancer, or coder. So a lot of ways you can do this. It's just a matter of understanding what those ways are, and then most importantly, putting those into fucking action. Like, you got to do stuff. Too many people are just, they suffer from analysis paralysis. They just don't do enough. So start doing stuff. And trust me, I'm guilty of this as well. I've been guilty of this the last 8 months, because I was building the studio. So That's why I'm trying to get back on track here. All right. I talk too much. I digress. We hit 1,000 actual active streamers. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, if you guys have more questions, I can't answer them all here in this stream now anymore, but in the next one I will. And I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.